Yes, it's Hayden Quinn here from the popular band Big Reef. How are you going? Welcome to another episode of our podcast. This is your regular reminder that if you're hearing my beautiful voice right now, it means that you're not subscribed to our Patreon feed, where you get to hear the full podcast episodes in all their glory. There's a huge backlog there of interviews and full episodes with Morgan and myself shooting the breeze, as it were. You can hear those in full and get your own private podcast feed without these introductions and with the full episodes by going to patreon.com/Big Reef. Do it now. Spend a little bit of cash and make our existence a little bit easier, because it's a lot of work making all this stuff. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I hear that there's a show happening here in Canberra. So if you're one of our Canberra listeners, come on down to the Irish Club in Watson. No. Where is it again? Weston, Watson. They sound the same. What's the deal with Weston and Watson sounding similar? That's my Jerry Seinfeld impression. And there'll be plenty more Jerry Seinfeld impressions at the Irish Club tomorrow night. Come on down from 8 p.m. You can catch At Last Broadcast, a fantastic local punk band? I don't know what you'd really classify them as. Good, for sure. And then we're playing Big Reef, and we've got to fill a 50-minute set. So if you want to hear some of the songs we haven't been playing in a while, come on down and check it out. That's the Irish Club in Weston, here in Canberra. Free, but bring an ID, because they make you sign a thing and be like, oh yeah, I'm a guest to this club today, before they let you in. That has happened to me before. What else? Following weekend, Sydney. We haven't forgot about you. We're coming to Vic on the Park. It's a funny name for a venue. I'm told that sometimes they have great shows there and other times not so great. Hopefully this one will be great. It's the end of the financial year in December, and I'm sure we'll have all kinds of fantastic celebrations around that at our set with the Tinnies. Our good friends, the Tinnies, are performing as well. Some might say they're headlining. We will be supporting them with all our tricks and tips that we pull out. So that'll be it for the year. For shows, we've got a whole heap of awesome stuff coming up in next year, including more shows in Sydney, more shows in Canberra. Stay tuned. Anyway, I better get out of the way of this amazing podcast you're about to listen to. Don't forget, you can hear the whole podcast if you go to patreon.com/Big Reef and just chuck us a couple of dollars every month, and you get your own private feed to all the full episodes. I know you want to. You know you want to. All right. Goodbye.
The microphones are on, the microwave's going off, and this is the Big Reef podcast featuring yours truly, Morgan James Quinn. And I'm here with my big baby brother, Hayden Christopher Quinn. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Morgan's baby big brother, Hayden Christopher Quinn. It's so good to be back on the couch, Morgan, hashing it out.
Having a couple of beers.
A lovely crispy beer.
That's me cheersing the microphone.
It's been a couple of weeks since we last recorded a pod. It's been a wild couple of weeks. What have you been up to?
Well, speaking of beer, I've actually brewed my own beer, which we're drinking today. Big Reef have decided to quit the music business and get into alcohol production.
Alcohol business. Let's get down to business. Hey, you ever heard that song, Let's Get Down to Business by Tiesto?
Let's get down to business and forgive the sun. Eddie Murphy was in that song.
I can't wait for Christmas. That's a thing.
You're the biggest boy I've ever sucked, and you've never snailed a dream.
So we played a show on the weekend. Yeah. On a truck.
Oh, yeah.
On the Soul Destroyer.
It really destroyed the soul. What's it actually called?
The Soul Defender.
The Soul Defender.
Yeah, we have a big purple truck here in Canberra.
The Soul Defender.
Is a stage. So you drive there. It's got speakers. It's got lights.
I know.
But it's a truck.
I know.
Imagine that.
I know. I've seen it. It's purple.
That is funny.
Big purple truck.
What a quirky colour.
Now, did they have to drive the truck in, or do they tow it in? Does it actually function?
It's a functioning truck, Morgan. That's
Holy
what makes
heck.
it so good.
Wow.
That was a good show. That was fun. We played out in the laneway in the Sydney, inside the Sydney building, or the laneway that runs between the two halves of the Sydney building in
Verity
Canberra
Lane
City.
is what it's called.
It was fun.
It's become a real pumping zone.
Become a real hotspot
zone
for sexually transmitted diseases.
Well, it used to be just a trashy place that you would try to find a car park if you were playing at the Phoenix Bar or Sideway, and it still very much is that. But now there are cafes and restaurants all about, and yeah, I thought it was a really good party. I like that venue a lot. I like the guy that runs the venue. I like the vibe that it spits out. Very well attended. They had one of those
tour.
They had sort of I thought it was a jumping castle at first, but it was like, do you remember that game show Gladiators?
Do I remember Gladiators? I was bloody on it. I was only on it for 3 seasons, Morgan.
Who are you, Mike Whitney?
I'm Mike Whitney.
Tanya Zayata. And
wait, was she also on that show?
I think that they were both on Who Dares Wins, and they would throw to each other on Gladiators as well.
What a double team.
Now, who were some of the ones? Who were some of the contestants?
Vulcan. You had Vulcan.
Vulcan.
For people who don't know what we're talking about, there was a show called Gladiator that was kind of like... I think the new version of that is like Ninja Warrior show, something where it's like everyday people try and take on the big Ninja Warrior obstacle course and
knock him off the plank,
see if they can win. But with Gladiators, it was like a cast of revolving cast of like athletes,
revolving doors.
And there were characters like wrestling style characters that probably had catchphrases, and they looked a certain way, and
they had stats.
They had stats, and like every day, you and me's would become contestants and go on and see if we could beat the Gladiators at their own game. Yeah. And they had a litany of different games. They had like walk along this tightrope.
They had the obstacle course.
Yeah,
who can complete the obstacle course?
But that was always the last thing. So there's like a bunch of different challenges.
But one of the challenges was standing up on a 10 or 20 meter platform. They each had a platform, and they also had these 2 sticks that were kind of like large earbud cleaner things.
Yeah, Q-tips.
Q-tips.
Large inflatable Q-tips.
And so they each had their own like meter by meter square platform that was elevated. It was Squid Game.
It was
and
just
they
Squid
would
Game.
Try to bash each other off. Anyway, there was something like that at this thing that we played at.
Did you get up and have a go?
No.
Oh.
And I didn't see anybody else do it either, and it made me sad. But I caught the tram down and walked over and saw a lot of my friends out the front of a neighbouring bar, and I thought, oh, that's nice. A lot of my friends are here.
They've come to see Big Reef.
They've come to see Big Reef play. This is awesome. And I talked to them for like 5 minutes, and it quickly became apparent to me that they were very surprised that I was playing there, and that they were there for a mutual friend's birthday, which was also nice.
We're also surprised that you weren't invited.
I wasn't invited at all.
Rude.
I wasn't invited.
Now we know what they think of you.
Well, I think I already knew what they thought of me. There's been many things I haven't been invited to over the last year, but at the same time, they were all very apologetic that they hadn't come to see my band play in the last year. And I was like, that's all right, you don't have to be sorry. Anyway, we're going to play at like 8 o'clock. Lo and behold, we play at 8 o'clock, and I don't think one of them came over to watch of us.
No.
To watch of us. And then afterwards, I went out the front and talked to them a bit more.
They didn't watch neither hide nor hair of us.
Neither hide nor Heidecker of us. And again, they were like, what time are you playing? I'm like, I just played, man. I told you we were playing at 8. Oh, sorry, I missed you. I'm like, well, I mean, look, I accepted it the first time you said sorry when you were apologising about the other ones, but we were literally 20 metres away, and you could have come and...
Just pop your head around the corner.
Your head around, mate.
Have a look, see that we're up there on stage, and then fuck off back to your precious birthday party.
Losing friends is a good thing because it makes room for more friends in your life. And I did bump into my pal Troy when I was looking for you at the beginning of the night. And he was like, I love Troy. He's quite an eccentric, interesting guy. And he came up to me and he's like, Morgan, I'm glad I ran into you, man. I'm glad I see you now because like, I've been thinking about this thing. I need to tell you, man. I need to tell you this. I really needed to tell you something, which is that, have you ever seen the movie Abigail? Okay, so it's a movie that's about like vampires. There are all these vampires, and there's this character called Peter. And I'm like, I kind of know where he's going to go with this. Like, anyway, Peter is... No, Frank. Frank's his name. Anyway, bro, you look exactly like Frank. I was like, oh, I wish there was some way to verify this, but, you know, I'm just going to have to take your word for it. He's like, oh, well, let's Google it. And then he got out some images of the guy. And he's like, oh, the reason I want to tell you is because if you ever wanted to do, like, a Halloween thing, all you have to do is, like, smear red fake blood on your face and you would look exactly like Frank. And so we looked for some pictures of Frank on Google, and he looked a little bit like me. But the image of him, and for the listeners out there, was just like this guy who had a widow's peak and kind of angular face and a little bit of red blood on his face, and was just pointing his finger towards the camera. And so I was like, oh yeah, that'd be good. I could go to parties and I could point at people and I'd be like, it's me, Frank from Abigail.
The movie, not the is it a TV show or a movie?
It's a movie, I think.
A movie, okay.
Yeah. But you know, that was a nice 10-minute sort of irreverent conversation that just went around in circles for a bit. But
and this was between songs as well, so I was up there trying to vamping. Hey guys, are you having a good night tonight? Isn't this fun? We're all here to celebrate 1 year of Squeaky Clean, the bar's birthday.
Yeah, so anyway, fuck all my old friends.
You've got a new friend.
I've got a new friend who's seen Abigail and thinks I look like Frank and gave me a great idea for Halloween, which I don't ever attend any parties or dress up for anyway, but it's he was thinking of me and he was thoughtful, and that's what I liked about Troy. And then we played music. Yeah. And that was good.
That was good. Yeah, good show, good party, good fun. I was very tired by the end of it. But I sat down and had a beer with some of your friends afterwards.
Oh, you did?
And you. You were there as well, you may recall. And then I had to go home, but Morgan, you were going to go off and do karaoke with these so-called friends of yours.
Oh, yeah. And then it was one of those things where, you know, everybody had been there for about an hour or two before me and they were already quite intoxicated. So we're trying to decide whether to go to karaoke and rile them all up, and finally we mobilized like 10 people and we went around the corner to Hey Show Karaoke.
Hey Show Karaoke. You ever been to that place before?
I don't think I've ever been there.
Me neither. I've only looked at it.
I've seen it, never been there. But they were all booked up till 11:30, and that time was like 10:30, so we had to wait an hour. And then I was just like, well, you know, I'm going to do that, and this is possibly why I don't have any friends. I'm going to do that thing where I just leave without saying goodbye and walk 10 meters away and go up to the nearest bar, which was Shadows, which is what Sideway is now Shadows. And I went upstairs and I saw it's exactly the same, but it's eerily different. Behind the bar now, instead of two, you know, barista-looking
young,
modern men and women.
Yes.
And men and women.
And women and men.
And they can be too.
Could be a woman. Or could be a man.
A man and woman, anything but modern, probably in their mid-50s, wearing like a light blue shirt tucked into black trousers.
Yeah, I've got alarm bells ringing already.
Well, short-sleeved as well. Sort of like a jean denim colour.
Yes.
And they're polishing glasses, and everybody in the venue is like 15, 20 people, also in their late 40s to late 50s, and they're all doing their, like, you know, fingers up, kind of like Frank from Abigail.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with his dance
Everybody
style.
looked a bit like Frank. They all had their fingers now
instead
pointing
of pointing
at each
out
other.
the camera, pointing in the air and sort of shuffling side to side.
Fake guns.
Was there a band playing?
There was a band playing Seven Nation Army. Cringy cover band.
That's the White Stripes. The White Stripes were there.
The White Stripes were there.
It was the White Stripes.
They were covering their own song.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was pretty massive. But then I turned and saw that it wasn't the White Stripes.
Wait, hang on.
It was a local Canberra band playing a White Stripes cover version.
Can you do that?
Apparently you can.
You can play someone else's song.
Well, not me, but they could.
That's crazy.
I've never learnt that riff.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of sat there. I had my sunglasses on as well. It was pretty cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why your friends left you.
This must have been why. And I was just thinking about my life for a bit, and then
yeah, because Seven Nation Army is a very meditative song. It really it is a song for reflection, a song for,
I think so,
thinking about your life.
It's sort of the Everybody Hurts of the early 2000s.
Really is. So you went inside yourself.
I went inside myself, and then they were like, "Now we're going to play a song from the '80s. Everybody get up and dance." And I was like, "Oh, this is going to be terrible." Or
so just to be clear, a song they wrote from the 80s, or surely not?
Well,
Because there are no White Stripes songs from the 80s.
I don't know,
And
but
you've
remember,
already-
Hayden, it's not the White Stripes.
No. But if they're playing one White Stripes song, surely the whole thing that they do is they get up there and they just play White. No?
Mm-mm.
There's more to this.
That's exactly what I thought, because I walked in there, I heard Seven Nation Army, I thought, oh, White Stripes, of course, and then I saw them. They're not White Stripes. Oh, they must be a White Stripes cover band.
Now, what's this cover band thing? What's that mean?
They perform renditions of other people's music that they haven't written.
Right, yeah, no. Okay, got it. Yep.
And they were like, now we're going to play, so everybody get up and dance. I'm like, this is going to be not good.
Yeah.
And then they
Was it
burst
good?
into... Hayden, I'll tell you, it got me up and it got me jiving. It got me smiling and pointing my fingers in the air
not
like I
unlike
was
Frank.
Frank from Abigail, I
Yes.
suppose. Troy would have been proud. And they played Easy Lover by Phil Collins and that other guy.
Now, I know that Phil Collins wasn't in the White Stripes. That's crazy.
I don't think he was in the White Stripes, but he very well could have been this night because...
Do you think it's some kind of sort of weird sort of pretend band of superstars that they're pretending to be up there, where they pretend that they're the White Stripes, and then suddenly, oh, who's this? We've only got Phil Collins back here. Let's bring him out. And did they do any of that kind of banter, or they just kind of play? No, they just said we're going to play a song from the 80s now.
But they hinted at... There was one guy in the band who...
Wouldn't stop winking.
He wouldn't stop winking.
Maybe just a
He kept changing his outfit as well.
Tourette's, maybe.
Yeah, it could have been Tourette's. But yeah, he kept changing his outfit and dressing up like your Meg Whites and your Peter Gabriels. So he was a little bit off, because I think we can all agree that Jack White's probably the more recognisable member of Genesis.
So okay.
it was sick.
Easy Lover, great
They
song.
played Easy Lover. It got me ricking and rolling around. And you know what? Just enough time had passed so that I could come downstairs and see that my friends were all gone. So I went downstairs and everybody had gone. And then,
do you know where they'd gone, or was that just the end
then
of
I
the night?
messaged my contact in the group, and they'd gone to Kingpin, which is where they have karaoke as well. And I went back around the corner to the place where we had played, and I watched the other band that was on after us. Mm-hmm. And they were good. They were a punk band. And I'll tell you, Hayden, I got myself a little tin of beer, and I enjoyed watching them. And in the final two songs, I really got involved in the mosh pitting.
Wow, Morgan.
I got in there, and I'd never really done that. I'd always seen people and thought that looks like fun, or that looks stupid. But this time I thought that looks fun. And I was like, whoa, mate... bloody live a little and get on in there. And I spilled my beer over everybody. I got punched in the face. I got pushed over. I got pulled back up. Yeah. It was, it was friendly. It was not overly aggressive, but it was nice to be reminded of the fragility of life and the randomness and chaotic nature of the little blue marble that we live on here called Planet Zebu.
So that band that you saw when you returned to the Cybertruck, or the what's it called, the Sultan of Swing, the Swing Soul, the Soul Destroying
bus.
Sultans of Swing,
Magic School Bus.
When you got back to the Magic School Bus, so now, I'm sorry if I'm just a bit confused. Were they playing songs by the White Stripes as well? Was it like a themed night thing? Because we didn't do that.
No.
Or were they playing original songs?
And I don't know if it's just some trend that I'm not aware of, or that, in fact, any band apart from that one band is aware of. But no, they didn't play a lick of White Stripes.
Okay. All right.
They didn't play a single bar.
So we famously have a show in a couple of days on Saturday. And so I'm just trying to figure out if we're supposed to play our own songs. This, like, has something changed, or is it like it's different for different bands? Is it different now?
No, I think what happened was and I'm not sure why you're being so retarded, but
I'll take that. That's fair.
I saw a band performing a song by another band.
Yes. And that's sort of where my confusion begins, but I think I've kind of sort of come around on that and understood that they were just paying homage, maybe. And it's a popular song, so it makes sense that they'd...
What's an example I can think of? Have you ever sung Happy Birthday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you write Happy Birthday?
No.
Okay.
I see. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Do you know who wrote it?
No, I'm not sure, actually.
The White Stripes.
Right. And so you're saying when I sing Happy Birthday at a birthday party, I'm doing essentially what that band did.
Well, my point is that, yes, that's one point. But if you were to I mean, ask me about a song. Ask me anything about any song.
Okay, all right. Who plays bass on Don't Fear the
White
Reaper?
Stripes.
Yeah, okay. I think I see where you're going with this now.
So really, when it comes down to it, all songs were in some way written for, by, or in the White Stripes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing new.
Yep.
It's not sort of...
But this Saturday we can play our own songs from our own repertoire. We don't have to do anything White Stripe related.
Do whatever the fuck we want.
Unless it's someone's birthday.
Yeah, just as long as we credit the White Stripes.
Okay. All right. Confucian say.
And then I went around the back of the bus and somebody gave me this shirt that I'm wearing now. It's a big white shirt and it's got the most amount of writing I've ever seen on a shirt. It's like...
you got that night?
Yeah, because somebody won it in a ring toss competition at that show.
It's a very cool shirt.
It's just got... I think it's a business for hiring like gaming consoles for parties or something. And it's got very small text. It's got the business name, the ABN number of the business as well.
That's very comprehensive.
See if you can guess the name of the business based off that alone. I won't promote it outright, but PS4, Xbox One, racing simulator rigs. I'm reading this upside down. Gaming tables. 0418417362.
Call that number and you'll find out the answer. And then if you hit us back on our social media accounts and tell us what the business name is, we will block you.
The complete party and function gaming entertainment hire package. Now that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
But, you know, let bygones be bygones. And then I was like, I could go out to karaoke or I should just catch the tram and go home. And I catch the tram and go home.
You catch the tram and go home.
I catched the tram and go home. I got on the Magic School Bus and I went home. And I thought, wasn't that lovely? I wonder what Troy's doing now.
Yes, well, we had a moustache growing competition at my workplace this week.
That sucks so much. I mean, it is Men's Mental Health Week.
It's Men's Health Week. And we, I guess, you know, Movember. We're meant to raise awareness about all kinds of men's issues. And I don't know. I'm all for not doing any of this kind of shit in the workplace. I could give a fuck. I'd rather just get my work done and get the hell out of there, right?
Sure.
I don't want to have to talk about am I okay day.
You don't want to socialize.
I'm just there to get my paycheck, do what they asked me to do, and then
play your White Stripe songs and get the hell out of there.
But that happened this week, and I don't know. So someone in our office, like the day after the mental health awareness like event that my workplace provided, I didn't go to it. I don't know what happened at it. I believe they got a speaker in to talk about, you know, all right, blokes.
A Bluetooth speaker?
Yeah, they got a Bluetooth speaker in, and they played a speech by a famous men's mental health advocate.
They played a Jordan Peterson speech?
They just played Jordan Peterson. No, I guess a speaker came in and talked about, blokes, it's okay to cry. Blokes, make sure you hug each other. And then that was probably it. But yeah, like one day later, today, someone from the office like sent out like an office-wide email saying, hey, this was a great event. Really great that you have some men's like mental health stuff going on.
And was it a man that sent this email?
It was not.
Of course not.
and then it was like, it'd be great if you could like do something similar for women in the future to make us feel more like a well-rounded workplace.
So she co-opted the Men's Mental Health Week for female. Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. And again, I don't give a fuck, but I just think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, no.
Because that's the kind of shit that you certainly don't do.
No, you don't. I mean, that's the whole rationale.
Just give it a couple more days, maybe. It's fine. I mean, like, and my workplace does do, you know, stuff around International Women's Day and stuff like this. I think maybe her point might have been that I think is it like International Men's Mental Health Month? Is that what November is? It's like a whole month. I think
so, and I think I think
maybe
about
her
that,
problem,
and that's a bit bullshit. That there's a whole month, November.
I don't quite understand why we've got a month. I also don't quite understand when that happened. Because I feel like it's probably only been like 2 years that I've been like, oh, all of November?
I know the moustache thing's been going on for like
I guess
5 or
maybe
10
because it
years.
takes a month to grow like a decent moustache. Is that why we get a month?
Oh yeah, could be.
Anyway, like I say, I got no horse in this race. I think we should eliminate all of this shit from workplaces. I think we should just... The workplace is to go there, work, and then leave the second you've finished all your work. So if that takes you 1 hour, get out of there. If it takes you 10 hours, sorry, buddy, you've got 10 hours of work today. Just
Amen, brother.
Don't make me do anything but the thing that you're paying me to do.
Amen, brother.
All that aside, but I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, we had.
I just thought it was funny that someone would... I don't know. It's exactly the inverse of the meme of like, when's International Men's Day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do you
all
know
lives
what I mean?
matter.
It's all wives matter day.
All lives matter.
Anyway, who gives a fuck? We're all gonna
Speaking of
die
all
something.
lives matter, I went to high school with a person, and
I'm listening.
they were like, I don't know, I'll just paint a picture of them. You know what?
Can
I'll
you just
describe them.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I'll
don't
just
have
describe
time for you to paint a picture.
I'll describe them instead.
There's going to be a bunch
I've done
of
this
dead.
before.
It's just like at the show the other day when you went and talked to Troy for 10 minutes and I had to pad.
Yeah. Oh man, did I tell you about how he thinks I look like Frank from Abigail?
Yeah, you did.
That was me pointing my finger out how I would at a
Sounded
Halloween
more like
party.
Wario than Frank, but okay.
It's a me, Frank. And she was a timid girl.
Wait, sorry, who is this person again?
A person that I went to high school with.
Okay, you went to high school with
She
someone.
was timid.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends told me that she has like a business profile on Instagram. Or not even a business. They just said like she's a trad wife. I'm like, what's trad wife? What's this? So I became familiar with this term trad wife, traditional wife, a wife who has traditional values of staying at home with the kids while the husband goes off and works and promotes this lifestyle as being...
That's where you lose me. You like what you like.
Yeah.
Nobody else has to do that.
Promoting it? I know.
just do it.
Well, this is what I... So
If
I
you've
was
got
like...
a good arrangement with your husband and all you've wanted to do your whole life was like be at home, cleaning, making dinners, making lunches, hanging with your kids, like serving your husband in whatever way you like. If that's what gives you enjoyment and you find a man who also is amenable to that and they like it, go for it. Why do you need to try and
Hayden.
push everyone else to do it?
Well, here's the answer to that question.
Please.
Because I had the same question for a while and I thought, this can't be.
Yes.
Nobody's this irrational to just promote a lifestyle without monetization of that lifestyle.
I see. Now, did I not want to hear
I
that?
forgot about this person, and then the same person sent me another one, and it was just her brushing her hair for like 60 seconds.
Yep.
So then I had a deep dive on this profile and saw that there's a lot of... It used to be a lot of trad wife stuff. Now it's more about brushing the hair. And the brushing the hair is linked to a particular shampoo product.
Oh, okay.
And that shampoo product is linked to a multi-level marketing thing.
Yes,
so it's about creating a brand, and the trad wife thing goes hand in hand with the thing. It's stuff that she's genuinely passionate about, but also would appeal to a certain kind of person. And then it is monetized. So that's
Fair enough.
why.
All right, get your bag, girl. Wait, no, that goes against the trad wife tradition.
But it also fits in
No,
with...
yeah, she's a liar. Her husband should be running the social media account.
Yeah.
And she should be making him food.
Just has a little bit of extra time on the hands at home in between sandwich makers and brushing her own hair to be able to start, business that will not generate any income for her, because those things... Oh, man.
What now?
I used to work for I used to work with a young boy who had a severe learning and intellectual disability. We would go into like this separate room, and I'd teach him how to read on this iPad. And he had one of those heaters that's just a grill, and the cylindrical bars that heat up and turn red, and he would spit in it, and it would evaporate. And then his obese mum would be in the kitchen in her bathrobe all day long, speaking on Facebook to people in other countries and trying to get them to sign up for some sort of buyback scheme on receipts from Woolworths and Coles. And that was a multi-level marketing thing, and I worked there for 2 or 3 months, and I saw the beginning of her being so hopeful that this was going to pay dividends, and how much time and money and effort she put into it. And then her being on calls to her boss, in inverted commas, and being like, I just haven't seen the money come through, Craig. And then him being like, oh yeah, no, it's coming, Zoe, don't worry about that, it's definitely on the way. We've just had a bit of difficulty in our New York offices. And she just like, she ate it all up, and I just watched the whole thing.
Very
I was like,
sad.
I gotta get out of here, mainly because I keep inhaling this boy's saliva.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That was the worst part of it. And so, good luck and good riddance. So
it's a sad world, isn't it? There's a lot of
world.
terrible shit out there. I'm
Mhm.
glad that my life is actually not too bad.
But we had the awards today for our employees.
What do you mean? What does that even fucking mean? You had the employee awards.
It almost reminds
What
me
does that mean?
Almost reminds me of
Like
think they do something
most
in the-
tall
They do something like that in The Simpsons, surely, where they all gather in a theater and give awards to people for... Well, I don't know, because I didn't go. So I guess I'll never know.
I guess not.
But that's my non-participation.
I mean, I wish you had gone for content for the podcast, at least, so you could tell me what happened.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because, like you not wanting to go to Mental Health Mozambique, I don't want to go there.
I mean... Yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do anything, though. I don't want to fucking...
bands.
I just want to make music. Anything that eats into making music time is like, well, what are we doing here, really?
It's not good for my mental health to attend these things.
No.
And it's bad for my reward system to attend award days. Because that's a punishment.
That Movember event is 1 hour of work I could be doing and finishing earlier.
Mm.
Anyway,
And you
I guess it's true what George R. Martin said. It really is a feast for crows.
And power is what power does.
And a clash of kings.
And
why do you have 2 copies of A Clash of Kings?
Oh. Well, one of them is the censored version.
Wait, really?
One of
That's
them...
a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them's by George R. R. Martin. The other one's upside down.
Okay.
So Knit Ram R. R.
You'd forgotten you read it and you bought it again.
No, somebody... I have 3 copies.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
I have 2 copies. Some of them are just the same colour.
Hey,
I worked with Louise and she gave me all her books.
okay, cool. How about the Lollipop Guild?
Oh, no.
Do you remember the Lollipop Guild
from the other day when you sent it to me?
I don't know where it came from, but I was thinking about, for people who don't know, in the famous film The Wizard of Oz, when what's her name? Dorothy. When Dorothy gets she falls, there's a storm, her house gets lifted up into the air, and then she lands in, and it's in color now.
Yeah.
And it's in color. And she's in the wonderful world of Oz. She meets a scarecrow. They fuck off. And the scarecrow's like, hey, I'll take you to the town. And she goes to the town.
Uh-huh.
And she meets all of the Munchkins, which is a town full of little people.
It's all true. And
then they're like, well, we must truly... She must have been sent from heaven to kill the wicked witch of the east.
because the house lands on the witch.
I think so. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, she lands at her house. Maybe it's before she meets the... Who cares? Who cares? She kills one of the witches, and they're like, oh, you're a gift from heaven. We love you. Thank you so much. Let us introduce you to everyone in our town. And one of the introductions is to the Lollipop Guild. What can you tell me about the Lollipop Guild?
I told you quite a lot the other day.
You did. And did you know this offhand, or did you go on a weird research binge?
I went on a 3-day bender.
It's truly the scariest clip on the internet. These 3 young little people, kids dressed up as old little people, munchkin men, sort of limping and singing a very short 1-minute song about being in the Lollipop Guild. I think it goes, we introduce to you the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, and something, 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 the Lollipop Guild. Oh, and on behalf of the Lollipop Guild, we welcome you to Munchkin Land.
It's quite a haunting melody.
It's fucked. It's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen.
The most haunting part about it is the rhythm, because it's we represent the Lollipop Guild, but I want it to be... So it goes 1, 2, 3. We represent the Lollipop Guild, but I want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We represent the Lollipop Guild.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I don't want it to be like that. That's really strange.
The gap upsets me.
I disagree with you.
But the part that's like...
Yes.
It reminds me of a toy that you would pull the string on and it would play, or like a music box or something. And I suppose it's typical of a movie from 1939 that it should sound like that.
Sure.
Little riddle of a melody. But yeah, they sort of apparently represent the labor movement.
No, who tells you this? Where were you saying?
I just read it. I read that the Wizard of Oz is an allegory for all these things, and those guys represent that, and other people represent Bing and Bong. And
It's not clever to
Bringer.
just take like an existing structure and like put different names on top of it. You just
Yeah, it
take
is.
like an existing society and say, well, instead of the Labour movement, they're going to be the Lollipop Guild.
That's what
and
everything
instead
is.
of the
That's what Game of Thrones is. That's what Disco Elysium is. That's what every good piece of art is. Every good piece of art is just taking something and just being like, yeah, I'll just give it this name and make it purple.
No, I think you're wrong. I think that just changing the names of the
I mean, there's not much
structures and the hierarchies
That's
to
all it
different
takes.
things that you need to actually come up with a story.
They sing a
that's
song,
engaging.
they
First.
come in, and then they go.
What a great episode of the podcast. www.patreon.com/Big Reef to hear the rest of it. Oh yeah.